Welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today, September 25th, 2025, we're putting Litecoin, or LTCUSD, under the microscope to deliver an in-depth analysis of its current market standing, blending essential news with comprehensive chart data. Litecoin has been a hot topic in the crypto space, especially with significant developments pushing its institutional adoption narrative. As you can see on our daily chart, covering the period from May 2024 to the present, LTC has experienced a roller coaster of price movements. Let's first contextualize the price action by looking at the broader news landscape that has influenced Litecoin over the past year. Positive announcements, like Canary Capital filing for the first Litecoin ETF back on October 15, 2024, ignited considerable market optimism. This was further bolstered by reports of unprecedented institutional interest throughout 2024 and major commitments, such as MEI Pharma dedicating over $100 million to a Litecoin treasury. These fundamental drivers, along with Charlie Lee's personal funding commitment and network enhancements like MWB adoption, point towards a strong long-term value proposition for Litecoin. Now, let's observe how these developments manifested on the charts. If we narrow our focus on the daily chart from early November 2024 through January 2025, you'll see a clear bullish trend. LTC rallied significantly during this period, climbing from roughly $65 in early November to highs approaching $130 by early December, and then again surging past $137 in mid-January 2025. These upward movements correlate strongly with the institutional interest and ETF filing excitement that dominated headlines during those months. The market clearly responded positively to the prospects of greater accessibility and legitimacy for Litecoin. This period also saw Litecoin hit its 300 millionth transaction milestone on January 4, 2025, underscoring its robust network usage. However, the path hasn't been without its challenges. A more recent narrative of cooling off and bearish trends has emerged, as noted by NewsBTC. Shifting to a more recent view, let's examine the price action over the last few months on the daily chart. From its highs around $137 in mid-January 2025, Litecoin gradually retreated, facing significant selling pressure that brought it down to the mid-$80s by early March, and even lower to $63.08 in April 2025, which FX Street identified as a significant low. After a recovery into August, where it reached an approximate high of $134.29, we've seen a noticeable correction. Looking at the candles from mid-August to late September 2025, we can see a general downtrend, with LTC struggling to maintain higher levels. The FX Street report highlights a sharp drop of over 7% earlier this week, with LTC closing below the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level at $107.09 on Monday, September 22nd. However, Tuesday, September 23rd, showed a slight recovery, with LTC retesting the crucial 200-day exponential moving average at $103.24, a level that currently acts as strong support. Our data for September 22nd shows LTC hitting a low around $103.02, confirming this retest. Interestingly, Sentiment data indicates that smaller whales, holding between 100,000 and 1 million LTC, have accumulated 660,000 tokens since September 20th, suggesting they view these dips as buying opportunities. Conversely, larger whales holding 1 million to 10 million LTC have shed 580,000 tokens, which could be interpreted as capitulation or profit-taking after the recent price surge. The Daily Relative Strength Index, or RSI, stands at 39, clearly indicating that bears are still in control, and a sustained recovery would require the RSI to move above the neutral 50 level. Immediate resistance is clearly visible around the $107.09 Fibonacci level, while the $103.24 EMA acts as crucial support in the short term. Let's zoom into the 15-minute chart to get a clearer picture of Litecoin's very recent movements. specifically over the past 48 hours leading up to the end of September 24, 2025. Here, we observe LTC consolidating around the $105 to $107 range. Earlier on September 24th, Litecoin attempted to push higher, briefly touching $107.79, as seen in the candles around 1:55 Universal Time Coordinated. However, it quickly faced selling pressure, indicating strong resistance around these levels. The subsequent price action shows repeated tests of the $105.50 to $106 area, with minor bounces but no decisive break in either direction. Volume during these intraday movements has been moderate, suggesting a cautious market as traders await a clear catalyst. For traders looking at shorter timeframes, the range between $105.50 and $107 is becoming a critical battleground. A break above $107, especially on higher volume, could signal a short-term bullish reversal, potentially targeting the $110 zone. Conversely, a sustained drop below $105.50 could accelerate declines towards the daily 200-day EMA support at $103.24. Or even the 50% Fibonacci retracement level at $98.68 mentioned by FX Street. In recap, Litecoin finds itself at a critical juncture on September 25, 2025. The long-term outlook remains bullish, primarily driven by ongoing institutional interest, positive ETF sentiment, and solid network development, giving it a decent chance of reaching $160 by March 2026. However, the short-term picture presents more volatility and caution. Key price levels to watch are the immediate resistance at $107.09, which aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement from its April low to August high. Crucial support is found at the 200-day EMA around $103.24. Should this level fail, the next significant support lies at the 50% Fibonacci retracement at $98.68, with a downside risk to $96.30. For bullish momentum to reestablish itself, LTC must reclaim and hold above $107.09, ideally pushing towards the next resistance at $130, and the daily RSI needs to break above 50. The presence of smaller whales accumulating during dips provides a degree of underlying support, reinforcing the idea that long-term holders see value in current prices. Conversely, if the broader crypto market continues to show weakness, as seen with Bitcoin and Ethereum, or if larger whales continue to offload, LTC could face further downward pressure. Traders should monitor volume closely. A breakout or breakdown accompanied by significant volume will add conviction to the move. Keep a close eye on any further news regarding ETF approvals or regulatory clarity, as these events will be paramount in determining Litecoin's next major trend.